My name is Keith, and Jesus changed my life. At the age of 12, I lived in a lot of poverty throughout my lifetime, growing up with my mom and my stepfather, seeing a lot of drugs, addiction, from drugs to alcoholics. I can definitely say that growing up in, through this poverty, that it was a lot of stress on my heart for me and my brother. Also, living through and seeing someone doing drugs in the house. I can definitely say that throughout that time, I would visit weekends with my aunt, and she would come and pick me up. And then that's when I started seeing life-changing events, how God worked through her life. I really wanted that a part of me. I'm like, wow, I can see how that person, feel the joy and the love of God that was given to her. And I wanted to escape. I was trying to find a way to escape from, this addiction that I had going on in my household. So eventually I ended up running away from home at the age of 12. Trying to search for something that was better for me. One of the things that I learned was that Jesus still loved me throughout it all. So one day, when I was running away, I remember a guy asking me on the street. He said, "What you doing out here on the streets?" And I was like, "I don't have nowhere to go." I remember trying to go to my uncle to his job on 34th Street here in St. Petersburg, Florida, and trying to search for him. Eventually I ended up living with my aunt and finding God and getting closer to God. Shortly after that, I went to college as a partial scholarship for track, and then I started picking up those traits that I got away from through my early childhood years. Started doing alcohol myself, sex, drugs, you name it. Any college student was doing it, I was out there doing the same thing in the streets. And I remember one day, some of my college friends invited me over to a church, and I said, sure. I grew up like that, raised in the church. So I was like, okay, I'll go out with you guys. And they invited me out, so I wanted the opportunity to get that same feeling I got as a childhood, growing up through the church. It's clear as day. I went to the church. I was filled with the Holy Spirit, started speaking in tongues. And from that day forward, I knew that God was still with me throughout my college years. Eventually, college didn't work out for me, so I joined the Army, and I got back to the same addictions and stuff, back to sex, drugs, you name it, chasing women. But however, I met my wife through the military, and same thing started happening to me. I couldn't shake the enemy off, and I knew that Jesus was in my heart and he was with me. For some reason, through multiple deployments and things that I've seen, I felt that I wasn't protected, and I felt that I didn't have the same love that Jesus was back then before. God opened up his heart to me, and I realized that he never left me throughout those years. And I know he died on the cross for me. I knew that as a little kid, and at those times that when I felt that he wasn't with me, he always came back and he showed me how he died on the cross for me, and he took all his sins as he went to the cross.